Silver Linings Playbook by Stephen Winnie and Hannah Coker.
Pat is introduced as the main character who lost everything due to his diagnosis of bipolar disorder. After spending time in a mental institution, he tries to cure himself without taking his prescribed medication, but fails. He is trying to show Nikki, his ex-wife, that he is better so that she will take him back. Pat is introduced to Tiffany, who also suffers with mental illness. She promises to give Nikki a letter from Pat if he will be her dance partner in a dance competition. Pat's father has a gambling addiction and makes a double bet that the Philadelphia Eagles will beat the Dallas Cowboys, and that Pat and Tiffany will score at least a 5 in their dance competition. The Eagles win their game. Pat and Tiffany score exactly a 5 on their competition. Pat's dad wins his money back, and Pat and Tiffany realize that they are in love with each other and begin to date and live happily ever after.
Bipolar disorder is a mostly genetic psychological disorder that involves very extreme mood swings. This disorder involves episodes of mania, having an elevated mood, and episodes of depression, sadness, and grief. Each of these episodes usually lasts for a couple of weeks.
There are many symptoms of bipolar disorder. Sometimes people experience mood swings, aggression, delusions, lack of concentration, false belief in superiority, difficulty falling asleep, impulsivity, hyperactivity, and/or self-harm. In Silver Linings Playbook, there are multiple examples of Pat showing these symptoms. One scene, we see Pat act aggressively towards his dad when he can't find his wedding video. Another scene, we see Pat staying up all night reading a book by Hemingway, and then wakes up his parents in the middle of the night to tell them what he read about. However, Pat does not show that he has thoughts about self-harm. Although Pat gets upset sometimes, his mood never seems depressed.
For treatment, Pat should be prescribed lithium and atypical antipsychotics. This medication should help stabilize his mood. Because Pat doesn't show extreme episodes of depression, I don't think that he would need antidepressants.
I think Silver Linings Playbook did a good job portraying bipolar disorder. Pat showed a lot of the symptoms that we found in our research. I do think that this film is an educational value to the general public regarding bipolar disorder. It does a good job showing the intense internal struggle that those who suffer with this disorder deal with. It also shows how society views them and looks down on them.
Pat's bipolar disorder wasn't directly treated in a humorous manner. However, at some points, I found myself laughing at some of Pat's impulsive and blunt comments. I think that the movie was able to take the good with the bad. It was balanced really well. I think that watching this film was educational for me. Seeing what the symptoms actually look like on Pat and how that affected his relationship with others taught me more about how detrimental bipolar disorder is. A scene that was insightful for me was when Pat was talking to his psychiatrist. He mentions how he hates his disorder and how he hates that part of himself. He was conscious of how he was acting and couldn't do anything to control it. The film was very entertaining. Because it seemed so real, I felt like it was easy to sympathize with Pat and his family. It was also interesting to see the inside of a situation that was unfamiliar to me.
I would highly recommend this movie to others. It made me more aware of how different life is for those who struggle with mental illness. The movie made me laugh a few times and it had a good ending. Another movie I would recommend is Rain Man. It's based on a true story and it portrays how autism affects people.